Welcome back to DM Prep. My name is Ian and I will be your DM for today. Today we are prepping episode 28 of the Gilded Troll Plays Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. When last we left off, the heroes had, honestly, a bottle episode. We spent the entire session on a boat, traveling from the Garden of Helios to the Island of Time. So that's what today's episode is, the Island of Time, and that's what we're going to be prepping. So I kind of read through the Island of Time. Honestly, I kind of skimmed it. It seemed a little... So the main thrust of the island is that you have he is coming. If he finds you, he will devour your flesh, your soul, and your very history. Nothing shall remain. 3 roars announce his arrival. 3 and no more. So essentially, heroes find they can remember 3 locations of the island that can be explored, and they have to choose 2 of the 3. But how am I supposed to describe these things to them? I don't know. It's really weird. But I do want to say hello to everyone who's here. So thank you for being here. Andy the Math Magician, that one guy, Fraginator, A-Lot, and all the other viewers right now. Because it says I got 8 right now. So that's cool. Thanks for being here. Sorry about that. So yeah. We're headed to the Island of Time, but first, at the end of last session, the players fought a whole lot of sharks and merrows and an Oceanid. And they banished the Oceanid and then sailed the fuck off. And in the process of the fight, they lost 13 crew members. So if I bring up 0116, we got a crew kill count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 crew that died in the process of this fight, which brings them down to 80 crew. Not a huge deal once they get their ship flying, but you know, it's a thing that they should be aware of, that they're losing these crewmates. But more importantly, what's really neat is that they lost people, and honestly, my players don't even really know them. So what I want to do is that the Oceanid casts disguise self and turns himself into one of the crewmates who got thrown off the ship. Players don't really know the crewmates. They haven't really talked to them. Will the ship need some crew even when they can fly? Absolutely. I'm honestly... I kind of want to come up with an explanation for them still needing the same 50 crew even while flying. I haven't gotten that far. I haven't figured out how to explain them needing 50 crew once they're flying. But that is something that I wanted to do, just so that, you know, their crew matters even while they're flying, especially if I introduce situations in the future. I don't know that I will, but if I introduce situations in the future where they can't fly and they need to sail, then obviously they're gonna need the 50 crew so that they can sail properly. There's a lot of mechanisms. Air currents, not rowing, but maintaining sails matter even more. Are there sails? Yes, it's a single-masted ship. It is a pentaconter. Oops, wrong window. Close that saving. Pentaconter. It's a pentaconter, which has one massive sail. Looks like this guy. Looks like that guy. It's a pentaconter. Penta means 5. I don't know. I don't know. I think that this ship is way too large to be a pentaconter, but given the number of the buoyancy compensators need constant maintenance and observation. Honestly, yeah, like shit like that. Like, just throw bullshit like technical terms at them until they say, "Oh, okay, yeah, we still need 50 crew to man this thing nonstop." Especially if you just say like, "Yeah, like you know, you need like 20 at a time and like sleeping and you know all that." So you know, just say you still need 50 crew once you're airborne. So yeah, Oceanid casts disguise self, turns him into one of the corpses. Like the Oceanid just pops back into existence, you know, hovering 20 feet above the water right near his now destroyed coral reef, and he goes, "What the fuck happened here?" But he does see the boat sailing off in the distance because they're only a minute ahead. But he's not an idiot. He's not going to just swim up and attack them. He's a smart guy, right, A-Lot? I don't know. He's your summon. But he's a smart guy. So he looks at, you know, the carnage here, and he goes, well, there's a bunch of corpses. What if I disguise myself as one of them? Because Oceanid's got disguised self. I don't even know if that's true, but it is now. Real talk? I don't even know. I mean, obviously I got the idea from somewhere. It might have just been my brain, but it also might have been a stat block. Stop destroying my house as a throwaway line, but leaning into it is cool. Yeah, so yeah, like he literally does not even have Disguise Self, but I'm giving it to him anyway. So I'm going to have him cast Disguise Self, and fuck it, let's just say it's at will. Why not, right? What the fuck am I? Like, if I'm a DM, like, I can fuck with shit. I can change how things work, whatever. So yeah, he's going to cast Disguise Self. He's going to turn himself into one of the crew members that actually died. And he's going to swim up to the ship and dangle from a rope. And he's just going to yell. He's going to go, like, help, help. And he's going to pretend to be, like, injured and shit. And then he's going to insinuate himself into the crew. You know, he's a fucking crew member. They're ocean puck, as per the writing. That is terrifying. They spend much of their time tricking and playing pranks upon mortals. Tricks are usually harmless. Okay. Some of them can turn fatal, often in the form of drownings. Largest target in dangerous currents with illusorily calm waters. Some of them are malicious. Any deaths resulting from their pranks are usually unintentional. Well, these deaths aren't going to be unintentional. He's going to be, like, legitimately murdering people on purpose. I don't know, maybe. Like, I have this, you know, murders them. He wants revenge on them, obviously. Like, they destroyed his fucking home. Like, that's just not cool, right? So I do want him to, like, actually attack them in some way. I want him to really, like, hurt them somehow. Maybe he uses Awaken. I don't know. So he still has to cast. He still has to take 8 hours to cast it. They can stop being efficient when they get supplies. Cutting nets. Someone sprains an ankle, etc. Okay, yeah. So he's really playing the long con here then. So he really just wants to screw with them, not so much like actually murder them. I dig it. Low key ruins all their plans. Okay. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to introduce names for all 13 of these people who died. Well, all 13 of them did actually die, but then so names of the fallen. Let's get the Greek name generator. Thanks, fantasy name generators. You the best. Gee. Having a hard time here. Summon the Kraken. I mean, that's... Alright. Demos. I'm literally just like... Kyriakos, Petriades, Lefteris, Nausicaa. Getting vibes from the Gargoyles show now with that guy. Really? That's interesting. Andromache. Karahalide. I love that name. Pandora's a little on the nose. Eulita. Scaphitidae. Want to summon the Demon Shark? Demon Shark. The Cetus. Sea monsters. Cetus. Oh my god, it's CR15. You're gonna have to wait for that. Jeebus. But yeah, this guy's fucking gnarly. This guy's fucking awesome. Let's see. Does he actually warrant his CR15? 250 hit points, 15 AC, advantage. Okay. Plus 13 to hit, reach 10 feet, 4d12 plus 8 piercing damage, dex save or swallowed. Oh wow, you just hit them and then swallowed. There's no swallow them on a second turn. It's literally just fucking swallowed. God damn. That's yikes. Yeah, no, that's gonna be real fun when you summon that. I'm down. Then there's Skilla. Skilla's cool. Alright, anyway. So we want the fantasy name generator. So yeah, I wanna come up with names for these 11. Garafalia, Arvanatelli. That's a name. Let's get some mail. Sophocles, Ralulis, Tolus, Sarantoglo. Oh boy, Andy, you know, you can just use the nat 20 to redeem 5 at a time. Oh god, I'm just gonna wait for you to finish. Oh, good point. There you go. Take 20. That's the one. Thank you, Andy. I definitely didn't need. So we got 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. Where's 10th? Waiting for the 10th. 10. All right, there's 10. All right, I definitely needed 10 more cheerspirations. I definitely did. Oh my god, I still have less than Remir. Yeah, so we got 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. I still have less than Remir. I need to talk to Luke about that. So we're picking names here. Gregorios, Rodoblo, Vasilios Apostoliadis. Let's get some females. Dorothea Miskelly, Leka Andretzi, and Euphemia Zanelli. Oh, Euphemia Zanelli. All right, cool. We got 13. We got 13 crew names. So these are the names of the fallen. So I'm literally imagining. So here's the scene that's in my head. So my players expressed at the end of the session that, like, they had to do something for these dead. Only 4 of them actually made it onto the boat. 9 stayed in the water. Or 4 of them stayed on the boat. 9 of them fell into the water. So they were debating casting Revivify on the 4 that were on the boat, and they're like, well, we can't just Revivify those who are on the boat and not the ones who ended up in the water. So obviously they want to do something about it. I'm imagining it takes them a few minutes to get the bodies together and blah blah blah, and then they start actually like reading, like they start reading out the names of the fallen. Like they have a service or some sort on the deck. And then let's go with Gregorios. Let's go with Gregorios, who is the one whose identity this guy takes. Oh, he wouldn't know his name though. So what I was imagining was that they call out these names, and then they get to a specific name, and then they hear, "I'm not dead," and then they look over the side of the boat, and it's just like, "Oh, hey, fuck, it's Gregorios." But the Oceanid would not know Gregorios' name. He just has his face to disguise himself with. So I'm thinking instead, the players are essentially like reading out a list. Like I'll literally give them a list of the names and have one of them read them out. And then as they get to Gregorios' name, someone will have him infiltrate for a while and find his quarters. Yeah, so what I'm imagining is they're reading out these names, and then one of the crew members will look over the side of the ship and go, "Gregorios!" as they're about to read his name. Like, holy shit, like, yeah, you're alive. Yep, that's it. That's exactly it, A-Lot. So yeah, that was my plan. Yeah, and like, holy shit, it's Gregorios. They pull him up. And yeah, that's essentially. And so like the crew accidentally gives him his name. He's like, "Yes, I am Gregorios." And then he just sort of insinuates himself into the crew. And we can even make comments like, "Gregorios, I don't know, I didn't know you knew how to play the lute." Like stuff like that. Like we can play with him a little bit. Make him out to be this like weird kind of thing. So I'm kind of excited about that. I do wanna make the Oceanid more of a thing. Can someone please carry me to my quarters? Oh my god, yeah. Absolutely. That's fucking perfect. I mean, so the thing is, like, they only have the one crew quarters. They don't really have like they don't have there's the specters here and everything, but like they just have the shared crew quarters. Like these hammocks are like three deep, and they share. You know, he doesn't have his own bunk. So I'll just say, so can someone please carry me to the quarters? Yeah, let's say my bunk. Can someone please carry me to my bunk? And you know, we can run with that. And maybe my players think that, oh well, Ian's just being like, he's being nice to us, and yeah, he wouldn't necessarily know that, but I think given that he's an Oceanid, he would have an understanding of how ships work, and you know, he's seen ships before. Throws up some water for a dramatic effect. Yeah, like yeah, and it's probably just a fucking minor illusion. Or it's just literally from his lungs or from his gills, because he can breathe water, no big deal. So yeah, like I can sell it. Essentially, would you say it was to keep the crew numbers even? So it actually that you let one of them come back. So actually, they currently have exactly 80 crew, and adding this one puts them up to 81. Hey, class librarian, how's it going? You got that CR0 commoner? Hell yeah. But yeah, so yeah, beware the kind DM. Absolutely. If I give you something, it's because I want to use it to murder you. But yeah, so one of the things, it's kind of an unwritten rule. It's literally an unwritten rule. It used to be written at some point that friendly summons disappear at the end of the session. Because we had a mimic summon that stuck around for about 3 sessions until I could finally kill it. That is your bit tier badge. So that's so you're somewhere between 100 and 1,000 bits total on the channel. So we got new bit tier badges. So Andy's got the 100,000 bit CR5 Gladiator because Andy is a madman. A-Lot's got the hype train conductor. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so friendly summons, they disappear at the end of the session, but I never made the same rule for hostile summons, and I think this might be the first time that a hostile summon has actually survived until the end of the session. So I wanted to yeah, no, that's fine, class librarian, no worries. I was just pointing it out because we just added those on, I want to say Monday or Tuesday, so. We got those from Bayless. Just 95,000 to your next one. Jesus, please don't, Andy. Just stop. So yeah, this is the first time we've had a hostile summon live through the end of the session. So I wanted to just bring it to the next session, because why the fuck not? Thank you for the bit, classy librarian. You're working your way towards the CR 1/8. I forget the stat block we used for CR 1/8. I want to say guard for 1,000 bits. So yeah, so that's the Oceanid. I just want him to insinuate himself, essentially. Yeah, and A-Lot needs their money's worth, exactly. He only got 1 turn, and he needs to get more than just 1 turn. So I'm gonna give you your money's worth. We're gonna make him more important than that. So that's so I last session I planned this whole ship in a bottle thing, and I had these 2 encounters with Remir with Pythor and Granny Morta that hostile summons last until TPK. I mean, yeah, basically until TPK or until the summon dies. Hi Proxima, how's it going? So I had these 2 encounters, but we had an entire episode of ship in a bottle. I think we're done with that. So at the start of the session, we're gonna describe the reading the names of the fallen. We're gonna do the whole all that stuff. But then we're gonna get to the Island of Time, and then if we have time at the end of the session where they're sailing to another place, then I've got these same 2 encounters planned. But I actually wrote a 3rd one for Estor. And Estor keeps trying to sway Ysena, and he does offer the same things. You know, he knows stuff about the places that he's been, Praxis, Typhon, Yonder, Garden of Helios, all over the mainland. But he also knows, and he'll share this with Ysena, that he knows what happened to Ysena Ventrak, the traitor. So a lot of these details, some of these details are out of the book. I lied. None of these details are out of the book. All of these details are actually from the DM's Guide to Odyssey, which is something that was put together by a bunch of community members. I'm dropping it in chat right now. And they add a bunch of details that essentially foreshadow the latter chapters. And one of the things that I haven't foreshadowed at all is Carpathos, which is, it kind of comes out of nowhere. I already foreshadowed Narcissus a little bit, but I wanted to foreshadow Carpathos, who is a vampire in chapter 10, New Pantheon. You need to get the caduceus from him. He's got a tomb. He's got a wife who is also a vampire. So I cooked up this story where Ysena Ventrak was Daemon's lover, and that they were petty rivals. Like they fucked like rabbits, but they hated each other. That kind of relationship. And then one day she returned without her mount, Aristanar, and she wouldn't say where he was. So the Dragon Lords exiled her for a murderer. Because why the fuck did you show up without your dragon, and why won't you tell us? So they exiled her for a murderer. So that's why she's considered a traitor, you know, because they assume that that she killed her dragon. You had a girlfriend like that? Woof. I'm sorry to hear that. So then Carpathos Aurecianos fled with Ysena and his dragon. Long had he clung to her heels. That man was as brutal as the sea, and I loved him for a brother. This is all from the perspective of Estor. I loved him for a brother, more than my own brother. I miss him more than most. And eventually they married, and apparently they founded Aurecia. And that's all Estor really knows about her. Hey DM Susan, how's it going? So they founded Aurecia together. So what this line essentially does is that makes Ysena the first queen of Aurecia, which according to this lore, in the book, is Queen Nemazine, and that's just a name that Ysena picked after she founded Aurecia. So Carpathos, he doesn't have a surname, but the supplement that I just linked, the DM's Guide to Odyssey, gives him the last name Aurecianos, which just sort of a back naming, because it's Aurecia, so he's Aurecianos, so we're justifying Aurecia's name coming from his, whatever. And then we're saying that Ysena was essentially his Queen Nemazine. And then their daughter, Queen Calliope, was the first actual queen of Aurecia. She was the first monarch of Aurecia, or the first female monarch of Aurecia. So Carpathos was the first king, but he was so reviled that they literally deleted him from history. And now Queen Calliope is referred to as the first queen of Aurecia. They hated Carpathos so much. He was so honestly evil that they deleted him from history. And part of that was because of what he did with the caduceus. The caduceus is a magic item that the players will need to get their hands on in Chapter 10. One of the three divine treasures, or whatever the hell they're called, that allow them to turn into gods, basically. So, Forged in the Primordial Waters of the Nether Sea. It was a life-giving staff with the power to turn the tide against the Titans in the First War. Daemon gave it to the Dragon Lord named Carpathos, also known as the Wolf Lord. Not a wizard, a mathematician. What? What did I miss? Okay, you are a wizard. Got it. Yeah. Carpathos used the caduceus to raise the Dragon Lords from death during the First War, but he was seduced by Lutheria into believing the staff could elevate him to godhood. He betrayed his fellow Dragon Lords and swore an oath to Lutheria. He later broke the oath at the urging of his wife, Nemazine, in my Reckoning, Yasenna, and transformed him into Thylia's first vampire. The Caduceus is an item of powerful life-giving in the hands of a living being. It gives the power to heal and bring back those who have died. However, in the hands of the fiendish or undead, it works in an entirely different manner. It has 5 charges, which charge daily at dawn. Yeah, okay. But if you're undead, you can create undead, or create a vampire spawn, or restore 100 hit points to an undead or fiend, even if they're at 0 hit points. So, it can be broken by an Empyrean with CR 15 or higher. Okay. Okay. Alright. So that's the details that I want to drop, but that's after the Island of Time. So once again, let's go back to the Island of Time. So what the hell do we want to do here? So as it's written, it has 3 locations. It's got the stone table, the overlook, and the pit of stars. The stone table is literally a fucking trap. It's a trap because you don't want to go there. You want to go to the other 2 because they actually do stuff. I want to add another one. Thanks for looking, Classic Librarian. Thanks for being here. I want to add another one because they asked, is there any way that the Island of Time can help us age our dragons? So I want to add another location. These 3 locations have really cool names: the Stone Table, the Pit of Stars, the Overlook. So I think I might actually just replace the Stone Table with the Stone Door. And then we can keep the same, 3 locations. Is an Empyrean a Titan? Because it says arrows of Empyrean slaying here. Yeah, Empyreans are Titans. So we're just gonna call them arrows of Titan slaying. The Temporal Nexus. I don't hate that, which is to say I actually really like it. Island of Time. So here's the thing. It's a baby Titan. So the Empyreans in this book are essentially the children of Sidon and Lutheria. But I think Sidon and Lutheria are technically also Empyreans, cosmologically. I think they're basically the same thing. They're just very powerful, demigod things. Wanted to put it out there as a reminder for y'all. New stream game tomorrow at 6 p.m. PST. Only 6 followers away. Hey, neat. Tomb of Annihilation. Cool. We'll check that out. So we do have our game at 4 p.m. EST. So we'll be done before you start your game. But we'll definitely check it out. They're Elder Empyreans, okay. Yeah, so they're still Empyreans, but calling it Empyrean slang kind of reveals that the Sidon and Lutheria are Empyreans, and I don't really want to do that. So if they do go to the Pit of Stars and they do this stuff, I'm gonna say they're arrows of Titan slaying. So I'll just say locations. We've got the Temporal Nexus, the Overlook, the Pit of Stars, and they can explore those. My guess, based on the names, is that they would pick the Temporal Nexus and the Pit of Stars, and then if they decide to go to a third one, then they confront the Andros Sphinx. After exploring each location, they hear his roar. Oh, so it's not until after they decide to leave the location that they have to fight him. So if they decide to go to the third location, they get to explore it at their leisure, that happens. So in the Temporal Nexus, I want to essentially, if you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z, see above question about Andros Sphinx. Oh, geez, I missed that. On the Island of Time, do you think that the him encounter should happen, since the original thrust of going to Island of Time was learning about Lotus, which is past, since he is ostensibly the leader? How would you hint that the fight is winnable? They might get more chances to talk and learn things about Hylian history and lore. So I think so here's my understanding of the Lotus Switch and the Island of Time and all that good garbage. I think that the Lotus Switch is actually the most personable out of all of the Sphinxes. She's the most like a person. She's the least ridiculous. I think that if they talk to any of the other Sphinxes, that it should be like mind-breakingly convoluted to understand what the hell they're talking about, if they even bother talking. The other Sphinxes on the island, eccentric, yeah, I mean, essentially, the other Sphinxes on the island would basically just have such a different understanding of time and existence that they're just incomprehensible. Whereas the Lotus Witch has spent 1,000 years or something like that in like normal reality, outside of the island of time. So I think that she's gotten a lot of practice actually talking to people. So I know their original thrust for coming here was to learn more about the Lotus Witch, but I also know that I don't think that they give a shit anymore. I don't think the players care. My players, that is. I don't think my players really care about the Lotus Witch anymore. I think the only reason they're actually coming here is in the hopes that they can age their dragons, and also because they had to, because they already set the Antikythera to here. So that was kind of just, the fact that I didn't do I didn't have the time loop sort of break out and have them remember the fight until after they sailed was totally deliberate. I wanted to sort of punish them for not fighting her when they had the chance. I wanted it to not punish them, but I wanted it to cost them something. And I wanted it to cost them the trip to the Island of Time without having to write wibbly wobbly garbage into the Island of Time. They could have it reset on they could have reset it on the Coral. I'm gonna go ahead and say no. Speaking of which, thank you for reminding me. Coral did 100 damage to the hull of the Ultros. So that was something that I wanted to do. So the reason I came up with that was that I was reading chapter 6 earlier today, and I saw that in Typhon, you have to make a survival check to sail in, and if you fail, the ships take 250 damage. I want to say the Ultros has 300 hit points. I don't even know where that is. The Ultros requires at least 50 oarsmen. Travel time is increased by a day. Okay, that's good to know. That's okay. Here we go. Oh my god, it has 1,000 hit points. And the Antikythera heals 50 a day. Alright. Coral did 250 damage to the Ultros. Fuck it. Coral did 250 damage to it. The Antikythera can heal 50 a day. I basically just want to make them go, oh my god, it did 250 damage. But the Antikythera has the power to mend damage to a ship. Once per day, it can magically repair 50 hit points of damage to a ship it's aboard. If it gets bad enough, they might just need to ride the floating castle. Yeah, I mean, true. But, I mean, it only took 250 damage. It's not really that big a deal, unless they start getting attacked. Unless the ship starts getting attacked by a lot of stuff. Incidentally, one of the first things that I want to do in the air, post-island encounter, Gaius and Arjun. And Arjun would very much just they would very much just harry them, essentially. Fly in, get a breath weapon, fly away. Fly in, breath weapon, fly away. And that would basically be how that goes. Can Oceanids summon fae, spirits, animals? I'll allow it. Why not? Fuck the specified list of spells. I'll pick whatever spells I want. So the Island of Time, the big thing that I want to do is the Temporal Nexus. For each day of real time spent, get a year inside the Nexus. So if you're familiar with DBZ, it's essentially the hyperbolic time chamber, but without the limit of however many, what are they allowed? 3 days total in there. And if they stay in too long, the door closes or the door disappears or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember what the rules were in DBZ, but it was arbitrary and bullshit. And I'm just going to say, yeah, for every day you spend, you can get a year of time inside the Nexus. So you will age as well, but you can train with your dragon, you can grow your bond, and you can age up your dragons into young dragons, essentially. So one of the other things in the nope, not that one. In the Dungeon Master's Guide to Odyssey of the Dragon Lords is I don't know if you're aware of this, but brass dragons suck. Brass dragons are really bad. They're the weakest of the metallic dragons. So one of the things they did in here, if I can ever find it by just scrolling page at a time, one of the things they did in here was they essentially rebuilt all the dragon stat blocks so that they're balanced. Here we go. So so let's zoom in. Okay. So so we got hatchlings, and then they're wormlings. It's fine. But then the young dragons is really what I want to do. So I wanted to come up with age categories. So dragon age. Let's go dragon age. I know that I'll get a compendium. Dragon age categories. That's it. So a young dragon. Where the fuck? Young dragon is anywhere from 6 to 100 years old. So we have 5 different stages of young dragon. So I was basically, I think the easiest way to do it, young 1. Let's 6 to 20 years old. Young 2, 21 to 40 years old. Young 3, 41 to 60 years old. Young 4, 61 to 80 years old. Young 5, 81 to 100 years old. So essentially what this means is that they could spend actually let's do this 5. They could spend 5 days here and age up all of their dragons to 5 years old and get young stage 1. That's a thing they could do. And they would essentially get the young stage 1, who has 110 hit points. Holy shit! That's a big fucking deal. That's more than they have. But they really don't have time to spend 21 days here. They really fucking don't. If we take a look at our landing page, let's take a look at the calendar. They still have 32 days until the Oath of Peace ends, but I don't think that any of them are going to think that they can afford to spend 21 days here just aging up their dragons. But I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that they would think, yeah, we can spend 5 days here and age them up to young. Yes, especially since the thingamajig, the loom, essentially just told them that point blank. So that's my plan for the Island of Time, is that I'm gonna replace the stone table with the Temporal Nexus, which essentially is just a big stone door. And I feel like there was something interesting about the stone table. Like, you go back there or something, 3 rounds combat, disappear in the pit of stars. Return to the party during the battle. I feel like there was oh, here we go. Feast of the Andro Sphinx. If they satisfy the Andro Sphinx with their answers, he'll invite them to a feast. I don't think this is happening. I don't really want to do it. I think it's dumb. I think it's really stupid. We allow them to get the legendary actions of any dragon they're riding, willing or not, to use as the characters at the bottom of the Dragon Lords. Are you modified to say Alice? I think you mean legendary resistances. I think that's what you're referring to, because that was something that Tim had brought up. So if we look at, for instance, the Vanished one. So Blessing of the Dragon Lords. While mounted on a dragon, you gain their resistances, damage immunities, and senses. And if it's an adult or ancient dragon, you can use its legendary resistance. Yeah, so honestly, so here's the thing. Sitting on top of a dragon's back is not mounting the dragon. you know, sitting, you know, if they fight, let's say during the Battle of Mitros, if they fight Icarus, who's been aged up to, I think, Ancient, actually, during the Battle of Mitros. Maybe? Oh, God, where'd I go? What the hell? Yeah, Ancient. So if they decide to just, like, hop on Icarus and then, like, throw spells at themselves to waste legendary resistances, it's not going to work because they're not mounted. They're just sitting on top of them. There's a difference between mounted and sitting on top of them. So that's those are two completely different things. I would probably not allow that. Seeing the dragon in the entrance to the Nether Sea. Hezebal, I think you're referring to. Guarding the mirror prison in the Nether Sea. Since that is for Tim's path. So the Vanished one's already done their epic path. He's done. Oh, look at that. If they encounter Hezebal, the dragon blames the Vanished one for his long imprisonment. Huh. Interesting. Weird. I didn't know. I forgot about that. So yeah, like Hezebal, he's a shadow dragon, I think. Right? Is a brass shadow dragon. Adult brass dragon. Doesn't even give it the swim speed of 80 feet. Doesn't even give him the shadow dragon template. He's just insane. Okay. But yeah, no, like he's an adult, so he does have legendary resistance. But I would say no, you can't use his legendary resistance because you're not mounted. You're just sitting on top of him. That said, I should oh yeah, I just remembered that I haven't been playing the villains. So one of the things that one of the events for Lutheria is like you see this stuff and then like a bunch of people eating each other. And then you have to make a whiz save or become consumed by bloodlust for a minute. And I actually had a plan to run that. Like I actually planned to have PvP combat. But we're not going to do that anymore because if my players really want to get a taste of PvP combat, then they should look forward to the deathmatch that we're planning for the Odyssey of the Dragon Lords versus Curse of Strahd group, which we're going to do as soon as we hit 1,000 followers. So that's a thing we're doing. If you want to help us get there, that's cool. You want to drop us a follow. As soon as we get to 1,000 followers, we're gonna schedule that team deathmatch and get that streamed. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, I don't know that I actually want to run this event at all, like ever. I don't think I need to. So I don't think I'm going to. But I do keep forgetting about that. But I do, one of the things that I keep forgetting to do is to actually like look through the epic paths and see if there's anything I'm missing. So demi-god, when the weapon's complete, Vulcan sends a Caledon to deliver it to the demi-god. Okay. Demi-god eventually discovers their mother's a prisoner in Hexia's lair. Yep. Demigod's mother has some knowledge of the Forgotten Sea and give a vague description of each island. Ask the demigod to see where her husband failed and save Thalia from the Titans. Okay. Vanished one. If they encounter Hezebal, blames him. Cool. Doomed one. Confronting Lutheria. Yep, I knew that. Whichever team wins needs to take on the Rime of the Frost Maiden team in whatever condition they're currently in. That'd be cute. I think they're still going to crush them because level 5s and level 11s are just totally different things. Haunted one we don't have. Gifted one. When the Gifted one meets Nephili, the Silver Dragon of Praxis. Okay, I do remember that. Gifted one gains an adult Silver Dragon as an ally. However, the dragon is as arrogant and mercurial as the sorceress was in life. She will only assist with the battle against Sidon. Okay. Lost one I don't have. Dragon Slayer. Confronting Helios. Confronting Teleus. In the Grand Arena at the Tower of Sidon, Teleus and his audience will focus their ridicule on the Dragon Slayer, and the dragons will prioritize attacking the Dragon Slayer. Good to know. Cursed one, Typhon Island. When they reach Typhon Island, they can leap into the volcanic core. If they have the artifact, they'll appear on the ash plains of Hades unharmed. There, the cursed one will find an old man. So that's actually an old woman in my case. So it's going to be Queen Calliope. Could you modify the Lutheria one at some point to not be PvP with something so that they don't forget she's still a threat? I could yeah, I could. Maybe once they fly, since they think that makes them immune to Sidon. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I think their plan is to actually start flying after the Island of Time. I'm hoping that the session ends before they leave the Island of Time. If not, I do have a significant amount of content on their trip to the next island, so that's not a big deal. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm actually just gonna write this one down. 0130. So rewrite the come on. Corruption of Lutheria event to not be PvP. All right. So that's a plan. Where was I? Gifted one, lost one, Dragon Slayer, cursed one. So Typhon. So instead of an old man, it's going to be Queen Calliope. Cursed one's ancestor. Cursed was his fall. He disrespected the Titans. This was his punishment. Cerberus says that killing the old man is the only way to end the curse. Old man does not defend himself. So I'm going to change up a little bit about that, but I don't think I really need to do that right now. If both Sidon and Lutheria are killed and the curse is lifted and Cursed one's ancestor is released from Hades, the solution is never offered or explained. It must be discovered. I'm not going with this because Sidon and Lutheria have nothing to do with this curse. It's literally just Narcissus. I really want to use this though. If the cursed one's ever killed, Damon will teleport in and destroy any remaining enemies. Neat. So I think that's about it for prep. This episode is called The Island of Time, but I think The Island of Time is going to be a small portion of it. I think the island really only presents maybe an hour and a half of combat. I'm not even going to bother coming up with a combat map for if the Androsphinx decides to, if they actually end up fighting the Androsphinx. Next layer action takes the heroes to the far realm, so if that happens, then I will just throw them. I will take them to the Tower of the Lotus map and switch it to, hey look, it's already on. Oh no, it's not. I'll switch it to the Starscape map version. Yep, have the whole setup from the Lotus Witch map flipping. Yep, exactly. You know what's up. So yeah, so I have that set up for if they end up fighting the Androsphinx, I can just clean this up and run it real quick at the table. No big deal. So that's my plan. That's next session. I'm really excited to see what they do with Gregorios, and Gregorios is gonna low-key ruin all their plans. So thank you guys for being here, and I'm really sorry that this stream is really short, but I don't have Curse of Strahd to prep it for anymore. But stay tuned because we always have more stuff coming. We've got new streams to replace Curse of Strahd. We just haven't been able to announce them yet. So thank you guys for being here, and I'm gonna see if there's anyone that I can raid. I haven't streamed on a Friday in so long. I don't know. Yeah, there's no Curse of Strahd prep because there's no Curse of Strahd. So we're gonna go ahead and raid Devil's Luck Gaming. They're really cool dudes who play D&D in full cosplay. I'm actually not entirely sure they play D&D, but it's tabletop gaming and they play in full cosplay, and it's like that's a mood. So I'm gonna hit the start raid button while I do my plug. So if you're watching us on Twitch right now, thank you for being here. Please check out our YouTube. We have over 250 videos, like something like 1,000 hours of content. And if you're on YouTube right now, please check out our Twitch. We're live several times a week. We do Odyssey of the Dragon Lords on Saturdays at 4 p.m. EST, Rime of the Frost Maiden on Mondays at 6:30 p.m. EST, and then I do DM prep for Odyssey of the Dragon Lords on Fridays at 8 p.m. EST. And then Andy does DM prep for Rime of the Frost Maiden on Saturdays at 8 p.m. EST, right after we're done with Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. And yeah, we also have a podcast and a Discord and a Twitter and an Instagram, and those all exist too. Thank you guys for being here, and we're gonna go ahead and raid, and then we're gonna I'll see you guys next time. Bye.